Hey there everyone, my name is Hitesh and I make coding related videos, and this is a code related videos where we are going to learn about Prisma, the basics of it, Node.js of course, we'll write JavaScript, but the most important aspect is I'm going to go ahead and walk you through how you can actually host your own database. Yep, you heard it right. No Neon, no Superbase, they are good product, but I want to show you how it is to actually really deploy the database, which a lot of you are afraid of it. Don't be, it is actually super easy. And how much power you get when you actually just do everything in the raw format. It's going to be a super fun exercise and you are going to absolutely love this. So we're going to be using Prisma, but along with the Prisma, we are going to use Sevalla, which is also giving $50 credit. By the way, you can get more if you check the link in the description section. I do have an additional one here. But the best part is, this is the pricing section. They actually give you the database hosting starting from just $5. Yes, it's not the most powerful machine on the internet, but it does the job. It can help you to do a lot of learning perspective, as well as a lot of other things as well. And in the interface is also really nice. By the way, if you want static hosting and all those React application, all of that is totally free. You can work with that. Now let me walk you through that how you can actually do this. So this is my database, but all you have to do is go onto their homepage, click on the add service and click on the database. It is that simple. Click on Postgres, MySQL, which one is your favorite, just pick one that. Even if you want to deploy a dedicated Redis, which is the cheapest here, you can just click on that and just at the end, just click on this create button. My create is disabled because I've already created one instance, so it allows one for free. I wanted to keep it free, but I'm very soon going to add my card in here. And you can actually, by providing more money, you can add more powerful of the machine. It's the cost of machine, not just the software. So you can go up to like $800 per month or $3,000 per month as well. But you can also minimize it just for testing, learning, kind of a dev database, not the production, but the dev database for just $5. And even if you get like one CPU, 4 GB of RAM for $65, this is incomparable to the pricing which all other major providers provide in the paid tier plan. But anyways, so once you do that, click on the dashboard, and this is my database that I'm having in here. Click on this, and then all you have to do is click on this public access. This is turned off by default. This means now your database is accessible outside of this whole network of Sevalla. Just click on this and that's it. That is it. By the way, if you want the backups and all these things which are required, which are crucial thing, you can see that I can restore just one click and restore your database. You can manually take that as well, but you have analytics and stuff. This is the most important part for us. All right, we got this. But what to do after that? That's where I come in. I will walk you through with a really classic, basic not React, but JavaScript application to do that. I'll open up my this fresh VS Code. You can use anything else as well, but we're gonna just write everything from the basics just like that. So the step one is obviously to initiate an application. So I'll just go ahead and say init-y to initialize an application within up here. The next step is to install few dependencies. So we'll just go ahead and say I want to install. The first one is Prisma. This is kind of our ORM which talks to database, and the best part is it can talk to any database. So if I have to just walk you through that how it actually works, the way how it works is this is your ORM and this is your application. So whatever the app you're writing, it can be JavaScript or any other app. And what happens with this app is your ORM always get in between. So maybe you want to talk to Postgres, or maybe you want to talk to MySQL, and all you have to do is change the connection string. So your ORM, in this case the Prisma, is going to be the central dependency, and your application always talk to Prisma only. And Prisma can go ahead and talk to Postgres, and with just one configuration in your environment variable change, it can actually talk to MySQL as well. Just change the environment variables. That is all it takes. With the bare minimum, you don't have to change your code, and that is why everybody loves Prisma. You can use Prisma, you can use Drizzle, any one of them. Prisma is actually changing their infrastructure itself, the whole mechanism. That's why I'm leading back towards them, but hey, this is what we have. Now, not only just Prisma is going to work, along with that, you need the Prisma client as well. And I'll talk more about them as well. So we'll have a Prisma and dash client. Prisma actually provides you a client in TypeScript, in JavaScript, in Go, and a lot of other languages as well. So we need that to, once we have our model being deployed, it gives us nice suggestions. That's why we need that. We'll also need one more, which is read line sync, because I don't want to create an application which has an interface. So we'll be doing everything through the command line itself. That's why this one. And the most important is you need .env to load the files or values from the environment variable. So these are all the things which we are going to require. No big deal, no big stuff. Now, once we are there, in the home of the package, we need a .env. You can create a .env local as well, but here we need couple of variables and data. How the data will come. So this is our DB host port, and then we have the database, DB user, and the DB password. We can actually use URL as well, but I'll walk you through with the URL part as well. That's pretty easy. First, let's go ahead and grab all of them. So we'll be needing DB host, and there will be some value inside this. And apart from the host, we will need a DB port. We'll be needing DB database, and we will be needing database user and password. I will show you the password as well. Don't you worry. We'll need the Prisma URL as well. I'll walk you through with that as well. Don't you worry. So the step one, let's go ahead and copy each one of them. So that's the first step. And copy this. Nice and easy way to copy them. And this is my database. There we go. And this is my user. There we go. And I should technically can copy this password from here as well, but should I do that? I'll write the test password just for now. I'll do that behind the scene. So let's just call this one as test password. So whatever your password is, just go ahead and grab that. All right. Once this is all done, that means we have all the things which are required. The next step is to initialize the Prisma. That's the first step. So just write npx, not npm, npx Prisma, and we want to initialize it. So just go ahead and type init. This is going to just create few new files for you, and especially the one which is the Prisma generator file. It's going to take some time. Have patience. Be with me. Come on, do it faster. All right, there it is. So notice here they have some of the tips of Prisma dev, migrate, and we'll see in the real world that how this whole thing actually transferred to this. But before that, let me just go ahead and add the password. And what you'll notice after this is if I go up here, this is the database URL. Notice here localhost, the API keys, and all these things are available. We need to change this a little bit. So how we are going to change this, let me go ahead and write that. So instead of the database URL with this whole API key, right now it's actually connecting to my localhost, which I don't want. I want the application to reach to the actual database, which is online. You can actually grab the URL from here as well. I don't want to do that because it actually consists my password as well. So instead of that, I'll just show you the syntax and format, what it gives. So this is how it looks, PostgreSQL. Then you provide your username, and then you provide the password, then host at the rate host and port. And by the way, all these values are from here. So host and port and all that. Let me go ahead and add my password, and I'll see you in it. And that's it. The syntax is exactly same. All right, so I've added my password. By the way, you can copy this whole URL from here as well. They provide that. You can use that. I'm not going to show you that because it's my database. I might forget to change the environment variables as well, but this is all what we need as of now. Now, one new file that you're going to see is this Prisma, where you write all the Prisma code itself, and you can install the Prisma extension so that it gives you the whole thing. Couple of things that you always have to do is, first of all, provider. This needs to be exactly there, and this is generated Prisma. This is kind of a new stuff that they have added, but it's okay. Provider is PostgreSQL, and that's what I'm providing from the environment variables, this DB URL. If you're using MySQL, just write MySQL, the rest of the thing remain exactly same. Now let's go ahead and quickly define very short model. I know you are not very comfortable with Prisma, but this is your first interaction. This is how you define the model. My model name is user. And the way how user is defined is, first of all, I'll have an ID, which will be of type integer. And I'm going to make this as ID so that it has, how ID works. And I will also go ahead and mark this as default. How the default will work. We have the option of UUID as well, but I'll just use the auto increment. So just always auto increment. And that's how you write schema in the Prisma. This is one of the most easiest way of writing the schema I have ever seen. And I'm using this, I have used this actually in database migration. We had to once move a database from my MongoDB to SQL. This was the easiest way to define the structure. Anyways, so the name is string, the email is also going to be string. We'll mark this as unique. There we go, decorators are available to us. Age is going to be integer, but it's going to be an optional. It might be there, might not be there. Then we have a created at field. This is going to be a date time field, and we can actually mark this as default, and this can be now. Super simple, told you, it is super simple. Then we have updated at. This is also going to be a date time field. We can also mark this as updated at. So whenever it is updated, it will just roll out that. And we can also map the user. By the way, just go ahead and look for this. So if you just look for the map, it maps the model name from a Prisma schema to a different table name as well. If you wish to mark this or export this later on, this can be useful. By the way, you can read more on that. So I'll just call this map this one to users as a table. Now, once I go ahead and save this, this means I have added my schema. Whatever is the name of your schema, you can just have this and write complex schemas as well. A dedicated tutorial is required for that when we have multiple of them, and then we have the mappings and relations that requires a dedicated one. This is not that one. All right, once we are done with this, then we have to run the command to migrate the things. So all we have to do is npx prisma and migrate dev, and we are going to provide a name to it. Let's call this one as init. And there we go. Hopefully this is going to migrate. Did it just exposed my URL? Nope. I thought it just exposed my variables, but it didn't. We loaded the environment variable from .env. We have migrated. We have all the SQL also generated available. So if you look at this, there's a lot. But somewhere the SQL is even generated. I think we should not touch it much. That would be a good idea. Let's not touch it. But you can see that this is being generated. This is being migrated. Now, if you notice, we have this client as well. This Prisma client JS is actually generated on runtime so that our JavaScript can get a suggestion for all the fields that we have added. And for this, we need to run a command, which is npx prisma generate. It does it most of the time automatically, but I don't trust. So I just actually generate it. So it regenerates a client for me. This client has all the updated information about the model that you have written and the model that has transferred to the database. So I'll come back here and I can go into Studio. Do we have some data or some structure here? So we can see that we have Prisma migration, but we have the model here as well, user. So we have ID, name, text, email, whatever we have written, all the fields directly transferring to your database. Have you ever seen anything much more simpler than this? I don't think so. So let's go ahead and add some new stuff in package.json. All right, so what we're going to do is we're just going to have a start script. And let's remove all of this. And for this, we're going to say node index.js. And we can actually have a dev script as well, although we're not going to change anything in that. You can change it later on. We'll just have a dev script just for fun. I'll not even introduce module. We'll write the classic index in the common JS. You can change it as an exercise. So index.js. And the step is to include all the libraries that you have. You can use the require syntax or you can use import syntax, whichever makes sense to you. So the step one is always to require a package that we have got .env, and we can say configure. If you're importing, that's a different syntax. Feel free to use that. Then we're going to go ahead and say we need Prisma client. Oh, that's a capital one. Prisma client. And that one comes not like that. That one comes from a require, and this one is going to come from @Prisma client. That's the one. And only thing that's remaining now is read line. So we can say read line sync, and that's going to be require. It's been a while that I have written the require syntax, but okay. read line sync, and that's it. So these are the only things that we require as of now. Then the step one is to create an object from Prisma, and that comes up like this: new Prisma client, just that. And now this Prisma is holding all the superpower and you can work with that. So let's create a classic application by running a simple loop in itself. Let's wrap everything into an async function, and I'm going to call this one as main. It doesn't need any params once it is there. So let's go ahead and add this. So I'll just go ahead and say console log that says welcome to Prisma plus Sevalla Postgres demo. Relax, sit back, and we can say console.log, and just for some fanciness, we could have multiplied it as well. Now let's go ahead and run an infinite loop with true. We will write the exit condition as well, but let's first give some option as well. So console.log, and we're going to say choose an option. Let's duplicate this. Let's give them option. One is to add a new user. Then the two is for view all user. Then the third one is, we can just remove this. What we can do, find a user, we can do that. Find a user with email. And the fourth one is going to be just exit. Classic application. Exit, there we go. Okay, so this is the part of the basic. Now let's read the choices, and how do we read that? That's actually easy. This read line sync has a method, and what we can do is we can say I will ask you a question and you will give me a response back. Enter your choice and you will choose between 1 to 4. And we're going to hold this into a variable. So const, this is the user choice. Now we have to write a simple switch case statement to get onto the choice. But before we write any switch case for that, we need to define the methods that if user chooses 1, how do we add the new user? So I think we can write them as a separate method itself. This is where you utilize the Prisma itself. So we'll write the async function. This one will be, let's just say add user. So we call this one. You don't need any parameters in that. We'll just provide a console log that says /n, and we will say few dashes add new user. Come on. There we go. And how do we add user? Now adding the user is first of all asking a couple of questions to the user. So we can just go ahead and copy this and paste it. And now let me move this. First of all, we'll ask the questions just like this. Enter user name, good enough. And we can just mark this as simply name. Similarly, we have to ask 2 more questions. Enter user email so that we can search for it, and maybe you can add age, but that's optional. So we have email and we have age. So now the data is being collected. Simply first of all, let's actually craft this age into something better. This is age. The rest of the stuff in the string is okay, but age in our database is an integer. So I'll just go ahead and say age. This is the age that we want. And we are going to see the age input. If it is there, then we are going to go ahead and say parse integer. And we'll just give it the age input. If it is not there, we'll just add a null there because this field can be null. Now we'll go ahead and add a try catch. Let me move this here. So now we can add a try catch, and you'll be surprised to know that how easy it is actually to work with that. Obviously, this is going to be a wait because database is always in another continent. And after that, we can just go ahead and tell the Prisma, it has a lot of methods. So notice here, it first of all have access to all the models that you have. So I can just go ahead and say Prisma. It's not suggesting me, but anyways, Prisma, and then I can just go ahead and say create. That's all it takes. Am I mistyping this? Why is it not? It should be Prisma. But this shouldn't matter much because we have the stuff. So we have the Prisma client. I am just surprised that why is it not giving me the, so Prisma. Will you give me suggestions now? Prisma dot, no, still no luck. Prisma dot user dot create. So Prisma has all these methods because it's an ORM, so it gives you easy way to access all these things. So once you give this create, this is actually a method which takes object as input, and you can provide all this in the data. So this is what you have to provide, the data. And the data I can just add name, email, and age. That's all it takes. And once we are done with this, we can call this as user. So user is being added. We can provide a console log message after this. And this can say in the backticks, and we can say user created successfully. And with ID, we can actually grab the ID from this object as well. So user, it has directly a .id field, and we can add a /n just for fun. So this is all it takes. And by the way, we can have some errors as well. We'll just handle the error as of now just with the console log, and we can say got error because just I want to show you the demo part. There we go, and we can say this is going to be error. All right, now that we have this one available, we'll have just one switch case that actually utilizes this. So once the user has given us the choice, then within this infinite loop, we will have the switch and the case, and we will evaluate for the choice. And we have just one case as of now. If the user choice is 1, then we are simply just going ahead and awaiting for a method which is add user, and we run this, and hopefully it works nicely. We'll just go with the default breaks and all this stuff. We want to test this much only, whether we are doing good or not. It's a good point to check because rest of the thing is pretty easy and I can just walk you through with that. This is the only code that you need me to actually write and should watch this. Let's run this. How many errors we are going to face. All right. So now we can do is npm run dev, or both are same. Npm run dev, and we got the issue. So Prisma client default, Prisma client did not initialize yet. Please run Prisma generate or try to import it again. Did we messed it up with the Prisma import @Prisma client? We have the Prisma client nicely and did not initialize. It should be initialized, but anyways, let's initialize it again and try this. Prisma generate. We are still having issues. Let me check this. Found it, had to look into the docs, not rely on my previous knowledge of Prisma because they have changed a lot. So previously it used to be like Prisma client, but now if I just checked in their Prisma client docs, it actually says you have to import it from generated Prisma and then you can work on it, and it actually worked. So I just went up and changed this into generated Prisma and no problem at all. Before that I actually removed my node modules and installed it again. But again, now if you'll see, if I run this, it doesn't do anything. That is okay because that's our fault. We actually created this main method but never executed it. That's fine, that's okay. So now we can just run this main and can see how it is happening in the real time. This is the real world. That's how you see that when things fail. So npm run dev, we'll choose, we have just one option that we have configured one. Enter your username, could have been better. So I'll just say Hitesh, could have some space as well. Hitesh at hitesh.ai. Age, I'll say my real age, which is 20. It's 19, but I'll write 20. And that's it. Now, what I want to do is see that whether things have actually gone into my real database or not, and that's what I want to see. I can hit a refresh and hopefully there we go. So we can see the entries are going in the database, and similarly we can actually retrieve the entries, edit them. So all the CRUD operations are there, and all I have to do now is just read that how Prisma actually does all the CRUD operation. So notice here, this is how it goes, Prisma user.create, and I think now it will give me the suggestions as well. Let me just go ahead and quickly check that, because once you have the suggestions, then it's a whole different game. So Prisma dot, oh, there we go. So we can see we have the connect, disconnect, execute, raw, and all of that, and even our tables that we are creating. And on top of the table, what do we want to perform? Aggregate, count, create many. I think it's super easy now, and I'll leave this as a simple exercise for you. I know you can edit this, you can find this. Notice here there is a group by, update, delete, upsert, everything is available. So what we did was create. You can create many users at the same time. You can go ahead and count how many users are there in your database, and in the table itself, not the database. And we can update this as well. So rest of the operations are just up to you, that how you read them. And if you don't want to read them, by the way, they have the great documentation as well. My goal for this video was to introduce you with the Prisma and see how it is to struggle to read the docs. But in reality, I wanted to show you that it's not really that hard to work with the database. Your magical file is the .env file, and rest actually comes up here. And here we have the SQL console as well. And we can just add this, prettify this, run this, and technically now you are in full control of your database. And notice here the PG vector extension is also there. So in case you want to store some of the vector databases or vector stuff, you can also go ahead and do that. That is it. That's all I planned for this video. Again, this code is not something that I'm really proud of and you should be using it, or it's not even worth pushing to the GitHub itself, so I'll not be doing that. This was just to make sure that you feel comfortable that it's not really that difficult. The easiness that all these companies give you, that's nice. I appreciate that. Neon, Supabase, I love that. But it's also not that hard to spin up your own database and just connect with this. This is how we have been doing things for years and years. These companies are just making your life easier, so make your life easier. But don't forget that you need to learn the things, how the rawness of the programming is and how it's being done when these services are not there or probably not in your budget itself. You can actually spin up a whole instance just within a few minutes. So that is it. That was the whole idea behind this video. Hope you have enjoyed this, and let's go ahead and catch up in the next video.